Ladies and gentlemen, final. We've beaten Olympique Lyon 3-0. My oh my. Final. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the Champions League final 2019-2020. Now, the key thing here is, of course, there is no point in making it to the final if you don't win it. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right, let's talk about Lyon. Let's talk about Olympique Lyon. I want to talk about Olympique Lyon and our game against them. Well, they were good. They were good. Worryingly so as well. The first 15 minutes, I have to say, we were very, very poor. They had their chances, and until then we scored, and the whole game just changed. Now that's actually, if you look at our season so far, is actually a story of our season. Against Tottenham, for example, you know, the game was very even until we started scoring, and then they were just like, bro, we can't keep up with it. We just can't keep up with that. Against Chelsea, it was the same thing. We started the game pretty good, and then once we scored a goal, you know, they collapsed, and they just couldn't keep up with that. Against Barcelona, it was a very even game until we scored, and then, you know, we scored an own goal, but then they just couldn't keep up with that. And it just shows you that, you know, against Lyon, of course, as well, you know, the same thing. You know, they were good until we started scoring, and then once we started scoring, they just couldn't keep up with that. So that's a story of the season so far. Now, it's a very interesting thing that that's been the case, because obviously what happens if they were to score? Well, you know, Tottenham did score first, but then we just kind of saw a rampage. So I do feel like it's okay. Like, it's okay for us to be defensively vulnerable. Not because defense doesn't matter. If you all know me, I always say a good offense wins games, a good defense wins title. It's one of my favorite quotes out there. But, keyword here is but, we're now in the final against PSG, a team that is also very, very good at scoring goals. They don't have that many, you know, goal scorers like we do, but they have a very, very solid team. Now, if you look at their team, I will get into their team and everything a lot more, obviously, in the future once we're closer to the actual date. But they are a very solid team, and they would take the chances that Lyon were given today. They would at least do better. Now, we have to say massive, massive credit, obviously, to Manuel Neuer, who was absolutely fantastic. The very first shot, basically the first 15 minutes, he was the reason why we were in the game alongside our defense. And then in the second half, he was still just absolutely brilliant, like just showing everyone, you know, his qualities. Obviously, us Bayern fans who have watched him this season, we know exactly how good he is. But because of a blunder last year, everyone's like, oh, he's finished. I'm like, sure. If you want to believe that, keep believing that. So that was what happened in the first 50 minutes. But then once Gnabry scored that sensational goal, honestly, I couldn't even believe it. I thought I couldn't even believe he turned from Gnabry to Robin. He literally just changed his name for that 1 second. He changed his name, like, okay, no more Gnabry. I am Iron Robin now, or Serge Robin. And he's like, alright, left foot. I'm right foot, but left foot, top pings, top corner. Like, bro, amazing. The interesting part, of course, is that we didn't go for it. Like straight up, we didn't go for it. Like in the previous games, you have seen me say multiple times that once we score a goal, we're still going for it in the 70th, 80th minute, so on and so forth. But in this game specifically, once we scored the second, we just kind of eased off. And I get that. I understand why we did that. Because obviously you don't want to pick up any injuries or suspensions for the final. Now, Boateng was subbed off with muscular problems. Now, we don't know how big those muscular problems are. There hasn't been any news since, you know, that announcement, but he was subbed off, so it's most likely that Sule would probably play in the final, which is, you know, that's all right. That's all right. But you know, we're a solid team. Today, against Barcelona, I thought our midfield was our biggest strength against them. Against Lyon, our midfield let us down. I don't think any of the midfield trio of Thiago, Goretzka, and Müller played well. I think those were our weakest players in this game, alongside probably Davis. But it doesn't matter, because we have such a good team that if one section kind of falls out or kind of just like drops off a little bit in terms of performance, then we have the other people that can just up their level a little bit and get us out of this. So that was good to see. Gnabry, of course, a striking department. I thought Gnabry, Lewandowski were spectacular. Perisic honestly should have scored, to be completely honest, but I much rather missed chances today than in the final. And overall, it was a well-deserved win. Despite the chances that Olympique Lyon had, we had more chances that we honestly should have converted. The two that come to mind for me are Goretzka, as well as Thomas Müller. They had two chances that Müller previously scored the exact same scenario from the free kick, and Goretzka was essentially put into the Gnabry situation from the Barcelona game, which 9 times out of 10 he would score, but today was that 1 time out of 10 where he didn't. But it just shows you that we have quality all over the pitch, that like we can have a few players have a bad performance, have an off performance, but and we still make it. Now PSG, of course, they have a lot more quality than Lyon. Lyon was very, very good defensively, but offensively they were kind of lacking. PSG is kind of the opposite. People are saying that they have a good defense. No, they don't. You put a little bit of pressure on them, they crumble like paper. PSG is actually a team that I have already done my analysis on, because it was most likely going to be them in the final. So I already did my analysis on them, which again we will get to. This whole week we're gonna get to it, all right, in detail, all right. But yeah, they are not. They're a team that has a lot of great players, but hasn't performed to the level that they should. Their forwards have. The midfield has been absolutely lackluster. The defense is okay, not great, not bad, just okay. And their goalkeeper, if he plays, is fresh. Let's call him fresh. He is a newcomer, basically. He is no bueno. Now that's of course if he plays the final. There are rumors. I don't want to talk about PSG too much just yet. We'll get into that, as I said more times already. We'll get to that. But yeah, Lyon 3-0. Finally broken the semi-final curse. In the first final since 2013, which is kind of crazy. Now this will be my 6th final as a. Alright, this will be my 6th final as a Bayern fan. It has an asterisk there with the fact that the first 2 finals that I experienced, which were the 1999 final and the 2001 final, those finals I wasn't really a Bayern fan, but more so a Oliver Kahn and Kufur fan. So that's why there's an asterisk, But if you want to include an asterisk, that will be my 6th final as a Bayern fan. Shoot. So far, I mean, granted, just in general as well, our record is not the best in the final. We have lost too many. If we had won every single one of them, we would now be number 2 in terms of ranking. Now, of course, you're never going to win every single final. That much is a given. But we're also the club that has allowed the most newcomers to win their first Champions League, and PSG is a newcomer to the final, and would be to the first Champions League as well. So the signs are all aligning that we're gonna lose. But there are plenty of stats that are in our favor, such as the fact that we've never actually lost against a French side in the Champions League. We've always gone through / progressed in the Champions League when we played against a French side. Is that something? There are plenty of little. You could make a stat about everything. You could say a stat like, oh, Buffon, who's been chasing Champions League his whole life, he's left PSG and now suddenly they're gonna win it potentially. But then on the other hand, you could make the story about, oh, Coutinho. Well, if he wins, Barcelona have to pay Liverpool $5 more. Ooh, like there are just plenty of stories like that. To be completely honest, so I would never really bother with these kind of stats. These are just like irrelevant stats. There are many stats that are there to be broken. Another one, Lewandowski. If he gets a hat trick, he'll have the Champions League campaign record to himself. Woo! With, you know, never just made plenty of stats like that. Now, as I said, I'll get to the PSG match on its own. I just kind of want to talk about the match against Lyon. Team did very well. I felt on the defense did very, very well. Boateng, Alaba did very well. Suda, when he came on, was mixed. I had mixed reactions on him. He made a few crucial errors, but he was also there in a key moment. So just kind of a mixed performance. Kimmich, I thought was pretty decent. Actually quite good, to be completely honest. I thought Kimmich was, from our back four, he was definitely our best. And then Davies, I thought, had one of his worst performances in a Bayern shirt so far. But all of that really doesn't matter. All of that really doesn't matter. What matters is that we're in the final. And you know, then when you go further, should I do a rating? Who do you want to hear a rating? Okay, here goes my rating. Or should I make it its own separate video? Ooh. I might. But yeah, that's just my thoughts though on the Lyon game. 3-0. They did very, very well, honestly. You know, for a team that's 7th in Liga, they did very, very well. They came here with a goal. They came here, I can say here, they came into the game with a purpose, which worked until it didn't. Respect where it deserves to be given. They did solid. There are teams that, you know, that are much better teams than them that we faced this season, that have crumbled a lot quicker, that have crumbled a lot more brutally, and they actually, you know, had a solid defense from minute 1 to minute 90. So, you know, we won. I'm happy, but respect to them. That's my take though on this game. I'll see you all in the next one, everybody. Until then, have a nice day. Peace out and bye.